Portsmouth is an amazing place to live, work and play for so many of its people. And yet, as a city, we sometimes suffer from a lack of ambition or maybe a lack of self-confidence in the way that we're portrayed to the outside world. I often think that everybody has heard of Portsmouth outside of the island, but actually nobody knows its real treasures and its real secrets. It's ironic, we're a wonderful historic city with amazing heritage. Henry VIII's flagship, Mary Rose, 500 years old. HMS Victory, HMS Warrior, the historic dockyard. Everybody knows Portsmouth for these things. The D-Day story, Dickens, H.G. Wells, Kipling, Sherlock Holmes, Doyle. All this wonderful heritage that the city has and is identified for. And yet some of the most exciting things happening in the city within the cultural and heritage scene are happening right here and right now and happening within our communities.
Whenever I travel around the country and you know, going to away games, I'm very proud to wear the Portsmouth crest. It's not just the crest of the football club, it's the crest of the city. And I know that myself, the players, the whole team feel like we represent not just the football club, but we do represent the city as a whole. And this really is an amazing city. It's got fantastic coastline, historic naval links. It's a city that prides itself in community, everyone looking out for each other. And although it is a relatively large city, it feels like everyone knows each other. It's the most bizarre thing.
We have a great story of the support that the city has given to the Navy and its success. And we have a great story about innovation and how the naval base and the Navy were a centre of innovation for this country throughout the world.
Portsmouth is a vibrant and a very beautiful city. It's like a pearl in a oyster sitting between hills and the sea. And the historical events that revolved around the city would just make you proud of being part of it. And it's very hard and impossible not to fall in love with this beautiful city.
There's a lot I like about Portsmouth, to be honest. I mean, I grew up here since I was a baby and now I'm 15 years old, going into my GCSE soon, and I've always felt a sense of community in this place. So no matter where you are, whether it's a football match or you're in your own school or you're walking down the street, you know that you have each other and you know that it doesn't matter what kind of walks of life you've come from, whether you're gay, straight, or you've come from a different country now, you came 50 years ago, you know that no matter what happens, you've got each other.
I came to Portsmouth 9 years ago and I must say I've fallen in love with it. I think it's a special and unique city. And I think one of the things that is quite special about it is its community feel.
Responding to climate change isn't all problematic. It presents quite a lot of interesting opportunities for us here in this city. We could think about how we use energy, we could think about how we use transport, and both of those things would result in lower bills and a fitter population. We could look at greening the city substantially, so planting trees, looking at how we can restore our coastal environments and our coastal habitats.
I like being by the sea, I like the freshness, I like the open spaces, and I like living quite close to the sea without being at the seafront. When I first came, I was aware that there were not many ethnic minorities, certainly not many Africans here, Caribbeans. Those I came across came to study at the Polytechnic and they were all going back to their own countries. But of course it's grown, their population has changed so much since then.
I came to Portsmouth in 1971, not intending to stay here, but really fell in love with the city. And the reason I fell in love with the city, I think, is one of its unique USPs is that the city itself is made up of lots of different communities. When you go to other cities, Manchester or London, outside of the city centre, you have suburbs where people live in urban sprawls. But in Portsmouth, one of the unique things here is it's made up of loads of little villages, whether it's North End or Costa or Southsea, And we've maintained a village identity in those localities, but because the city is so small and compact, that all spills over into the city centre, and you don't get this, if you like, hard commercial centre to a city that you might get in other areas. You get the sense of family and community spilling over in there.
It's very unique. I don't come from Portsmouth, but I live in an amazing place called Gunwharf Quays. I come from London myself, and growing up, there was that sense of camaraderie and togetherness. In later years, I went into teenager, that went, and you go back there to London now, and that just doesn't, the area I grew up in, that just doesn't exist, but it still exists and flourishes in Portsmouth.
I think one of the great strengths of Portsmouth is that we have a really strong sense of identity as a city. We're an island city, we talk about that a lot, and I think that really lends itself to people having a strong sense of identity, and that leads on to sort of a desire to try and work hard for our local residents. I live and work in the city myself, and so it's, we're passionate here about trying to make sure that what we do makes sense for our patients on the ground, and for improving the health and services that we give to our local residents.
Most of the people living here are very friendly and very compassionate. And the most amazing thing and experience I have in this city is when I walk on the street, I receive friendly smiles from the strangers, which always make me happy and love the city more and more.
I'm particularly interested in the happiness and well-being of the population of Portsmouth. I think it's a particularly happy place to live, actually.
As an island city, I think Portsmouth has always had family and community at its heart. I really enjoyed growing up here and the access to the open spaces of the seafront and the common. And I think those feelings around strong identity and being proud of Portsmouth, the Love Southsea movement, for example, people are proud to live here. People are proud to be Portsmouth.
Even though it's quite small and compact, visitors can come into our city and they can have an experience in the city centre and just go half a mile down the road to the historic dockyard. They've got another experience there. Wander down to Gunwharf, a different experience and culture there again, and then onto the seafront.
When we talk about culture, we're not necessarily talking about opera or ballet or grand art or great theatre, though, of course, those could be part of the mix. But what we're really talking about is culture that means something to people in the street, people in the communities.
In regard to the football club, it's the heartbeat of the city. I've never known a city where, because it's a one club city, it just means so much to the people. And Andy Alford, a great player for the club, and a previous manager, often said to me that when Portsmouth Football Club wins, the city shines, the city smiles, and that is true. You come in the day after a victory and you're just driving along and you see smiling faces, and you let people go at the pedestrian crossing and they represent you and they give you the thumbs up.
We've got so much to offer here that makes it incredibly attractive. And over my time in here, where we've moved more away from being a naval city into more of a community city, I've experienced a load of change. The atmosphere's changed, and friends who sometimes come down into the city who haven't been for maybe 10, 15 years, all remark on how much it's changed, how much more peaceful it seems to be, how much more friendly it seems to be.
I think that there are probably more opportunities for people to come together in a place like Portsmouth. And of course, when it comes to sociological understandings of happiness, being together and being part of a community is actually really, really important. And I think, at least speaking from a personal perspective, I think being part of the Portsmouth community has been really important for my happiness, at least. And I know that lots of other people I have spoken to who live here are also really, really happy.
This city has got a great record of outperforming the South East region and the UK in its business startups, whether that's total businesses, 1 to 9 employees, or 10 to 49. We are outperforming the region and the UK. But in order to maintain that growth and attract new markets, we need to make sure that we are consistently at the edge of the curve moving forward.
We should be raising young people that have got the skills they need to cope and work through difficult problems. And there's a different set of skills that are needed for that. Whilst knowledge is the foundation of everything, knowledge is power, and we need to be communicating those bodies of knowledge to children. We also need to layer other skills over the top, skills of problem solving, leadership, collaboration.
I think there's a really strong integration here in Portsmouth between the City Council and our NHS. We all work in the same building, which allows for really good working relationships with colleagues, also from public health, looking at improving the health of our population, things like increasing exercise, reducing smoking, strategies for tackling obesity, and it also helps inform strategies for things like the further plans that we're going to make, or that the City Council needs to make in the future, with things like regenerating the seafront, the new sea defences, how you can improve facilities for people to exercise.
There's so much good in this city in regards of people looking out for each other, and geographically as well, and how the city is in regards of its position to the Isle of Wight and London. And every day when I'm driving around just looking out to sea is such an amazing experience. But there is so much more we can do. I do think that we've got the passion and we've got the people of the city, that's very important.
I'd like to see more work provided for people in the city. Mixed work. Anything, encourage small businesses, tech businesses. There is no reason why we couldn't have more hubs to encourage youngsters to go into technology. I'd like to see people who work voluntarily in the community supported. I think also we should have mixed cultural activities as norm, not celebrate Diwali once a year, Chinese New Year once a year, Black History Month once a year, and then put them back into the boxes. These cultural activities should reflect our community.
The future is obviously 2040, so I'll be like a parent then and taking my kids. And I feel if I take them back to, my hometown and taking them to, where I grew up, I'd love to see, just the same atmosphere as it's always been, but better.
My vision for this city, job creation, employment, go green, low emission, safety and security, everything is important to make a city great. But the most important thing, I think, is to bring the communities together and give them a common platform to stand together.
We have an opportunity as a city, and we have a choice. Our choice is to showcase what's possible for a city like Portsmouth, to really transition to a more sustainable future, where we're resilient to climate change, we have green jobs, we have a healthier population and cleaner air. And all of these are benefits that we derive from tackling climate change.
Well, I think our vision for 2040 for the city of Portsmouth would be that we would be recognised as a cultural city, indeed perhaps a city of culture.
So not only is the city synonymous with the Navy, but of course it's our only island city. And I think that creates a really important relationship between the city and the sea. We are a maritime nation at heart, and I think this city is a maritime city at heart. And it's really important that we, the Navy, play our role in promoting maritime industry and enterprises across the city in order to project ourselves forwards into the type of city that we would want to be in the future.
Business, education, community, those three go hand in hand to take this city to be the number one in the UK to invest, live, learn, work and visit.